Hey yo, what's up with it? This your boy Guti. On this episode of the Gusto, in the segment that I like to call Black and Brown Time, we had brother Vada on. Vada, dope, real cool cat, man. He has a testimony, yo, like it's crazy, yo. We had a blast, yo. Just, catching up and shit. I'm sure you'll enjoy being a part of that conversation. Join in on the comments, yo. Any questions, feel free, yo. We'll be more than glad to answer them. And yeah, well, I won't take no more of your time. Get right to it, man. Let's go. Let's go. God is dope. Yeah.
My name is Vada Hedgeman of Is He a Real One Radio. I am, a former gang member, grew up from South Central all of my life, a preacher, a Christian apologist now. Always being outspoken, always have been outspoken about what I felt strongly about, still doing that now.
Preacher. So, I'm gonna go for the beginning, bro. Like, what hospital were you born in?
Man, I don't even know what hospital I was born in. It might have been at Killer King,
Yeah.
Okay. It might have been at Martin Luther King. I don't know. Shouts out to Martin Luther King, man. It's a shame. Like, we got to put Killer, and maybe that's related to the ultimate conversation we're going to end up getting to, right? About the things that Martin Luther King stood for,
Yeah.
and not even just us, as a people, constantly having violence on a street called Martin Luther King, but the hospital,
Yeah.
you see, like, we naturally know it is Killer King,
Right.
But I may have been born there, I really don't remember, but, I grew up, I was born in the late 80s, so I grew up in the 90s and everything like that.
Where did you come home to from whatever hospital you was born at? Do you remember it was the first place where you lived at?
Honestly, man, I don't even, my first memory is being somewhere on, like, Figueroa Street in Colden. That's the oldest memory I have.
Okay.
So I really don't know. I really don't know all that. Really, I never even thought about it till you just asked it. All my life, like, that never even, like, crossed my mind.
Do you remember what elementary school you went to?
Yeah, so I went to a couple. I went to Oak Street Elementary in Inglewood, and then I graduated from Hudnall. So I'm like, I think that was in like 98, man. I'm getting up there now, bro.
Where's Hutno at? I've never heard of that.
That's in Inglewood.
Oh, where? Oh,
That's
okay.
that's in Inglewood. So by then I was living on Fig and Imperial, but for whatever reason, my mom didn't want me to go to Fig Elementary, even though all my friends and stuff was, were going there. So I used to catch the bus to Inglewood, to Oak Street, and then to Hutnall Elementary.
Okay, cool. How was it though? Like, did you have a good elementary experience? Like, was that good times or like was it whatever? Like,
It's interesting, man, because I don't really have a memory like that of things that happen in school. I have a memory of things that started to happen in middle school, in 6th grade when I was at Crozier, and when I was younger, I have a memory of stuff that happened, like probably within my household or around the neighborhood that I was at. But I don't really have no memories like that about school, interestingly enough.
so what about home? Like, how was home? Like, what was the makeup or the structure? I don't know. Who all lived in your house? Like,
Well, I grew up in a single parent household. I never knew my dad. So my dad, he killed himself when I was about 2 months old or something like that.
wow.
Yeah, so I've never known him, but I do have 3 older siblings, and, for the most part, I've always had a somewhat troubled relationship with them, which, many people who are brothers and sisters, have.
Mm-hmm.
But my brother, he's about 8 years older than me, so by the time I started to get older, he like went off to college, so we didn't see him as much anymore. And by then I was about 10 years old, which might have been right around the time I was graduating elementary. I don't really remember how old I was, but it's around or about there. But yeah, just being in the house with my mom, she was a single mom, she was dating, but I certainly I just have a memory of, things that happen in the house, of course, family drama and things like that. And And I used to hate when people call me little man. So anytime she was dating somebody and they'd be like, hey, little man, you know, I'll get mad. So I got beef with this dude too. I don't like him, man. Get him up out my face.
Yeah. I had the same thing when people call me buddy, bro. Yeah. Like grown men calling me buddy. Oh, bro, I can't
I don't know what that is.
I don't know
why. Now, as an adult, I'm the average height for a male. I'm actually slightly taller than what's considered average height for a male. I believe the average height for a male is about 5'7", 5'8" for the average male in the world. And I'm a little taller than 5'9". But growing up though, I was always mad short, like mad short. You know, I had a growing spurt in between 7th grade and 8th grade. I went from, no, high school, bro. From 9th grade to 10th grade, I'm sorry. I went from 4'11", came back over the summer 5'4". Damn. You know, and yeah, praise the Lord for it. You know, so but anyway, I say that to say it's possible that, you know, I had a short man's complex, you know, as a child, you know, because I got in a lot of fights, you know, when people would, you know, would tease me over my name, which is a dope name as an adult, by the way, Vada. But, you know, when growing up in the early 90s, I got in a whole lot of fights over being short, and looking like a baby when I'm not quite a baby no more, and something else. I lost my train of thought. I said being short, looking like a baby.
Your name.
Yeah, and my name. Yeah.
When I first met you, I didn't believe that was your real name.
Right. Everybody think that's a nickname. Everybody.
Yeah, I thought it was like Star Wars related, bro. I don't know.
Right.
Like Darth Vader. Yeah.
But I even use that now when people, you know, like when you're talking to people and you tell them like Vader, like what you say? What'd you say? I just be like Star Wars, Darth Vader, except I'm Vada. But here's the thing though. Star Wars, when I was younger, that's not the thing that used to get to me, bro. You know, so I don't know if you remember, but in the 90s, it was a very popular movie called My Girl. And the white girl name was Vada. You know, so that's the thing that really got to me. So, but I got Star Wars, I got My Girl, you know, her name was Vada, so they said it was a girl name. Street Fighter, it was this cat named Vega, Vega. And then there was a wrestler by the name of Vader, you know, and he did like this with his fingers and stuff like that, you know, so I heard it all, man. I heard it all.
Hey, bro, to go back, but hey, I didn't know, bro, about your pops, but
But you did though. I think you just don't remember.
Yeah. I guess I be trying to block out, cause you know my mom. So we have that in common. Is like my mom killed herself 3 months after giving birth to me. So, damn, that's crazy, bro.
That's crazy. But see, I don't know if you're gonna remember this, but you know, we were in a rap group together, right? You know, like many years ago, right?
Right.
And we did a lot of music together. Some of your stuff was solo, some of it was group. I don't know if you remember, I had a song called Talk to Father. Where and I was like talking to my dad, and I like wrote it in a way where he was responding about what he did. And we had like an emotional, we teenagers, bro, we like 15, 16, you know, but we was having like an emotional like conversation, you know, about that record.
You did it like so creatively, bro, like the way all your music, bro, you real creative with it, bro. I received that. I appreciate that, because you know, like I could tell the influence in it, you know, because you really, like, it's like a puzzle, bro. You put it together, you know.
Yeah, I received that.
Yeah, bro. I do remember. Honestly, my memory is pretty bad because of all the alcoholism and drug abuse that I had to, you know, that I put myself through. So it really took a toll on my memory, you know, unfortunately. By the grace of God, I'm sober today, going on 8 years.
What?
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
That's hard, homie.
Yeah, one day at a time.
Yeah, one day at a time. That's big, though.
Thank you, brother.
That's big.
But yeah, it did. My memory did suffer from it, you know. But you know, cool now.
I mean, but don't feel.
I do. When you mentioned it though, I remember.
Right, but I was about to say, don't feel too bad, because you asked me like 2 questions, and I was like, I don't know, I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? I could call my mama, man. She might, because I don't remember nothing.
So what's your like earliest memories, bro? Like of, you know, your childhood. Like what, you know, was it like a loving upbringing, or like a, you know, pleasant, or was it like kind of fucked up? Like,
you know, I don't. You know, like last time I did an interview and somebody asked me a question that's similar to that, my mama got a little mad at me, you know, but I love her with all my heart. We have a wonderful relationship now, you know, but I don't have a whole lot of, you know, like pleasant memories, you know. In fact, it's just being honest. You know, one of our friends who we both know really well, I remember when I first started spending a whole lot of time with him, you know, when I'm like 15, 16, 17, however old we were. And, you know, of course, every household, you know, got their own issues. But I remember, you know, he would be able to like call his mom and be like, okay, like we talking about doing X, Y, Z. And he'd be like, all right, I'm going to call my mom or I'm going to call my dad, see if they can do it. And I'm like, that never even crossed my mind as an option when I'm trying to resolve stuff. And it seems simple, but it really blew my mind that instinctively or intuitively he would be like, well, I'm gonna call my mom. Or I saw, man, we $40 short, I'm trying to do this, I'm gonna call my mom, and maybe she'll give it to us, maybe she won't. But the mere thought to even ask is like it was baffling to me, you know, and it really blew my mind. And something like that seems really, really small, you know, but that really impacted me, bro. So I say that to say I just remember a bunch of arguments, a lot of arguments. Actually, my oldest memory that I have is, you know, my two teeth falling out because my sisters had me in like a blanket, you know, like, you know, like any blanket that you put on the bed. And remember, I told you I was real small when I was little, right? You know, so I got one sister on one side, the other sister on another, you know, and I'm like laying in it, you know, like I'm in that thing that you can put on a tree and chill. Like so so they doing like this, but I flew out. I flew out, bro. Boom, face first. That's my oldest memory. If I leave here and I remember something older than that, I'll let you know. But but that's my oldest memory. That and me choking on some candy, and my sister saved my life. She kept hitting on my back until I coughed up. You know those candies that's like a circle like this. You know, it's different colors: green, red, purple, whatever. And
like a jawbreaker kind of.
Yeah, but it wasn't a jawbreaker. It's just one of those candies that come in like the see-through wrapper.
Okay.
But anyway, man, I ate one of those and I drank some water while it was in my mouth and I started choking. Yeah, man. So even though we don't got the greatest relationship now, you know, that's one of the reasons why I try to, you know, demonstrate gratefulness for her existence, because I would have died at like the age of 4 or 5 if it wasn't for her.
She's the Hyman Lake. What was it called? That maneuver, the Hyman Lake? No, where they grab you from the back and like.
Yeah, she ain't even do that though. She was just punching me in the back till it came out. So when I would see the TV shows and movies or something, and somebody like, oh, let me go do that thing that you talking about, I'm like, why you ain't do that? That look a lot less painful. She was just stealing on my back. You know what I mean? And she probably was trying to save her own life because, you know, my mama wasn't home. My mama would have killed her.
So what middle school did you go to, bro?
So I went to Crozier for a little bit, which is also in Inglewood, because, you know, my mom was trying to use our Inglewood address and milk it as long as possible. But I ultimately went to Gompers and graduated from there. And, you know, and by then my memory starts to get a whole lot better. I remember a whole lot of stuff, man. And it's funny because, like, I know the overall point that's related to this interview, you know, is Black and Brown unity, and I know we want to get there. And I remember the need for a conversation just like this a lot at Gompers, because it was a whole bunch of race. I'm talking in middle school. And you want to know what's crazy, bro? I remember going there, and I remember my teachers at Crozier Middle School in Inglewood and counselors and stuff like that, when I told them, like, yeah, so I'm gonna have to go to Gompers, and they would all be like, I don't want you to go to Gompers. And then when I finally got there, I was like, man, it ain't that bad. I was like, this ain't that bad. But when I actually reflect on all the stuff that I experienced, it actually was that bad, bro. It was normal for it to be riots. I'm talking before school, you know, with some of our brown brothers, you know, who are Latino, Mexican, or Hispanic, you know, like, clicking up, we fighting in the middle of the street in the morning before first period, and then we go to class like nothing happened, like it's normal. Now, I didn't think it was a big deal at the age of 12 and 13 because it was normal to me, right? That's all I know. That's all I'm witnessing. But as I'm thinking about it, and I have a daughter who's about to be 13 in a couple months, dude, I would never want her to think that that's normal, let alone be around it at all. So, yeah, man, I went to Gompers, and it used to go down. over there. You know.
I got jumped like 3 times at Gumpers, bro.
Oh, congratulations, man. I'm proud of you. Proud of you. I knew you could do it.
And I swear, one of those times I almost like said, man, fuck that. I'm about to join the gang. Right? I was like, nah, I can't do
it. Yeah. Then you'd have been mad when they jumped you too, 'cause that's how you get put on.
Yeah. I was like, man, I keep getting jumped, man, like over girls and stuff, like, you know, like.
That sound like it's your fault, bro.
Yeah.
It's over girls. It sound like it's your fault.
Nah, bro. I would be like chilling. Like, it ain't my fault. They girl wanted to talk to me or something, bro. Like, I was chilling, man. I was shy as hell. Like,
that's crazy.
But yeah, we're just like insecure dudes, you know, like talk, you know, whatever. But hey, what kind of music were you listening to? Like, what was it oldies being played in your house, or like, you know, 90s hip hop, or what, R&B?
Yeah, a whole lot of hip hop.
Yeah,
a whole lot of hip hop. I mean, before my brother moved out, he used to always listen to rap. You know, he was a big Tupac fan, and he would listen to, you know, whatever he was listening to. And when he started to move, yeah, I still listen to hip hop. Tupac was always my, well, I wouldn't say he was for the most part, he's always been my second favorite rapper, you know, because people forget Eminem came out like 2 years after Tupac died. You know, I know it might not seem like it, but when we actually think about it, he came out not long after Tupac died. Yeah. But Eminem and Tupac were pretty much always my favorite rappers. You know, then many years later, 50 came out, you know, so those three still are my favorite rappers to this day. Wouldn't be my top 3 best, but they're my top 3 favorite. But as far as the music being played in my house, I mean, my mom used to listen to gospel music in the morning, which interestingly enough, I told you, you know, I'm a born-again believer and follower of Jesus Christ, you know, and I worship the Lord. But I've never heard the gospel until I started, you know, studying religion and studying God myself. And then I learned about the gospel, and I learned about the message of Jesus Christ and got born again. But I never heard the gospel at all. The closest thing to it was when my mama would listen to gospel music in the morning. She would never talk or preach or say nothing, but she'll wake up early in the morning, sit on the couch, you know, similar to this, and just play gospel music. You know, and smoking her cigarettes and drinking coffee, you know, and that's the closest thing I ever heard to hearing the gospel, but that's about all she played.
Back then, were you intrigued by the gospel music?
Nah, it was just background noise. One of the things that's fascinating to me, especially with the season that I'm at in my life, with me being so on fire for the Lord, is how much I didn't think about God on any level. Is God real? Is Jesus real? Like, I didn't, like, it just wasn't a part of my life. Like, God being part of my life was about as much as lacrosse being in my life right now. I've heard of it. I don't know the rules. I couldn't go out there and play lacrosse. I wouldn't even know where to start. All I know is I'm probably going to need one of those stick things, you know, that you can hold the ball in. I don't even know if every player on the field get one. I don't even know. Yeah. But I'm going to expect one, and that's it. I don't know. Do I run this way, or can I tackle you? Can you tackle me? Can we fight? I don't know nothing about nothing. And that's how much it was about God, bro. So it's crazy. Like, it was so much not a part of my life, like, at all. Yeah.
I would have, you know, figured that you at least had some kind of, like, something. So for you to turn, like, a full 360 or 180, I would say, right? Like,
yeah. It's funny because it's funny that you say that, right? Because you was like, yo, you did like a complete 360, but a complete 360 would be back to what I was doing back then, right? Yeah. But people always go, yeah, it's like he did a complete 360, but it's like, okay, so that means he did that, and then went right back to where he started. Right. You know, it's like when people would be like, man, you know what? I hear them talking about me, but I could care less. But the proper way would say I could not care less. When you say I could care less, that means that I could possibly care less than I actually care now. Yeah. So I care more than I probably should, and I could care less. Yes, I could not care less would mean it's not possible for me to care any less than I already care. But what people say is, I could care less. Yeah. Well, it's like, well, maybe you should do that then, since you could.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that, and it's, but I have to stop being, you know, grammar police or whatever, because every single time I see it, I'll be like, all right, what's your take on, it's all downhill from here, or is it all uphill from here?
Right.
That's a debate between me and my girl, like.
It's all, well, that means it's going bad. So that means so if I say it's all down here from here, that means I'm right here, but it's only going to get worse.
Really?
Right?
That's like, I don't know. I thought it was like smooth, like going up is hard, like going down is like the easy part.
Okay.
No, I don't know, but
it could go either way. It could go either way.
Yeah,
It could go either way.
on
You got a point though.
Yeah.
You got a point, but I think it's meant. That's funny. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, but it's a lot of like just going down the timeline. You can see a lot of people's grammar. Like, damn, there's so many like R's. The hour or ARE, like
in your
your there.
Or they say I love your picture, but YOU''RE. I love you our picture. I just love you our food. Like that ain't. It's the wrong one, bruh.
Hey, I know you a big boxing fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who you got, Mike Tyson or Roy Jones Jr.?
I got Tyson.
Tyson?
I got Tyson in there.
How you calling? Like, what's your prediction? Like,
well, I think Tyson gonna knock him out. I hope they both get out healthy. I'm gonna say first round.
First round knockout.
Well, yeah, because I think if it goes longer than that, Mike Tyson's gonna be in trouble. Because Mike Tyson has been out of commission, in and out of rehab for the last 2 decades. And he started getting in shape, and muscle memory is real, especially if you are a professional athlete the way Mike Tyson was, let alone an elite one. Yeah. So muscle memory is real. However, boxing is an instinctive sport. So you need your twitches, you need, your skill set, and you need to stay sharp. And although Roy Jones has lost a lot of fights recently because he kept on fighting, he also kept on fighting, which means that he has been practicing the art of boxing a lot more than Mike Tyson has over the last 16 years. So I think that if it actually does go longer than a round, Mike Tyson is going to get really fatigued, and then he'll end up getting stopped. I don't know how many rounds it's going to be, but he'll ultimately get stopped, not because Roy Jones hit him so hard and knocked him out, but because the referee is going to have to stop the fight because Roy Jones is putting too bad of a beating on him. I don't think it's going to go that long because I think Mike Tyson is going to land something and actually hurt him, because Roy Jones, he's a great fighter, but he relied on his twitches. Like, he didn't even rely on his timing, which is, I'm going to look at you, and when I see you throw that left hand, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to hit you with that. That wasn't Roy Jones's game. He relied more so on his gifts, so I'm just naturally super duper fast, and I can just do this, and I can throw a left hook with my hand all the way down here, and because he did that, that's why he started to lose a lot of fights later in his career when his reflex. See, Floyd Mayweather, if you notice, he started to fight differently as he got older. Yeah. And Roy Jones didn't demonstrate that same capacity to do. Even Manny Pacquiao, all fighters, you see them start to fight a little differently. Kobe Bryant, towards the end of his career, started to play differently. Still, I thought he was the best player in the NBA, but he was playing differently. LeBron James is playing differently now at the age of 35 than he was at 25. I say that to say Roy Jones did not demonstrate that same capacity because he relied solely on his gifts. So he wasn't able to just, dodge punches and throw all the ways, throw punches from these odd angles that he used to do, which is why I think he started to get knocked out. And I think that at the age of 50 or however old he is right now, he's not going to have that. And I think Mike Tyson is going to land a really, really big shot and knock him out early. If for some reason that doesn't happen, Mike Tyson is going to get stopped because I don't think Mike Tyson has the stamina to keep up his energy, because I know boxing looks easy, ladies and gentlemen, but let me tell you something. Just go on one of those heavy bags. Yeah. You ain't nobody gonna be throwing a punch back at you. Go in there and hit it for 3 minutes, just for 3 minutes, because professional boxers box for 3 minutes and then they do 12-round fights, right? And we be like, oh man, he weak. Even if he, get knocked out in the 9th round, you know how hard it is to go 8-9 rounds. I challenge you to go on a heavy bag and hit that thing. I'm talking to you, gangbanger who had 1 trillion fights, and you think you hard. A street fight lasts if a street fight lasts 30 seconds, that's long. Yeah. That's an eternity. Yeah. Okay. Boxers go in there for 3 minutes at a time. Yeah. Nah. So Mike Tyson, he ain't gonna have that stamina, and I think Roy Jones is gonna have much better stamina. So if Mike Tyson doesn't knock him out early, he's gonna get stopped. But I think Mike Tyson will stop him.
So first round knockout is your prediction?
First round knockout is my prediction. If that don't happen, Roy Jones is gonna stop him.
Yeah, because Mike Tyson, he be smoking hella weed, huh? Like,
and if he doesn't smoke no more, he did before, and it's going to have a residual effect one way or another.
Yeah.
And he also had a really, really, really heavy alcohol problem.
Yeah.
So again, muscle memory is real, but you can't just work out for 8 months and be like, all right, I'm back. Well, you can to the average Joe,
Yeah.
but to somebody who has been boxing consistently for the last 16 years and they're sharper than you,
yeah,
nah, doc.
he gonna have his work cut out for him. So yeah, he's gonna have to go in there throwing haymakers like he do, like, and try to hope that he land one, right? Like,
Well, I wouldn't say go in and throw haymakers. I would say go in and do his. See, Mike Tyson, he has this thing where he goes in like this. And Mike Tyson is short,
Yeah.
right? So he walks in, he makes himself really smaller,
Yeah.
you know, and he pow,
Yeah.
you know. So it's not just throwing haymakers like he doesn't have a plan behind it, because he does. But he's just gonna go in, do his Mike Tyson thing, and listen, power don't leave. Power don't leave. You're going to be 70 years old. You ever see one of those old mechanics that's like 70 years old?
Yeah.
You try to shake his hand, and he like, where you going, young man? You know, and it's like, yo, you strong. Power?
Yeah.
That don't leave. Power don't leave. So he can still knock you out if he land.
yeah. Did you ever listen to one of his podcasts?
He interviewed Eminem,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard some of that, and then I heard him on with the MMA fighter. Her name is Cyborg. I heard that interview. That's about it.
Is there any podcasts that you listen to?
I listen to a lot of informative biblical teaching stuff. So, you know, you're interviewing me, I'm going to plug mine. If anybody listening to this and you don't know if Jesus is real, if he existed, or if he's actually God or whatever, check out my podcast. It's called Is He a Real One Radio. I'm a former non-believer, a former agnostic leaning towards atheism. I'm basically a former atheist who's now on fire for God. So my show is all about providing answers to common objections to the Christian faith. Is Christianity the white man's religion? Does the Bible endorse slavery? Did Jesus actually exist? The historical reliability of the New Testament, did it change over time? Were books removed from the Bible? And different things like that. So I talk about a lot of stuff like that. Excuse me, but I listen to when I'm not listening to podcasts that are in that same topic, I like to listen to Vlad TV, who he's now on iHeartRadio, but I think he interviews really, really well, even though I don't like some of the stuff he says all the time. But I think he has brilliant interviews. I think he interviews in a way where it's incredibly informative and it's going to last a very, very long time, long after he's gone. So I applaud him in that. I listen to All the Smoke with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, and I listen to Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles. You know, they Knucklehead podcast. I love how they just have locker room talk, you know, not trying to quote Donald Trump. How they just have, you know, basketball player locker room talk. You know, I think that's really, really dope. You know, I love listening to them talk to other basketball players just about basketball stuff. I think that's fire. I like Fat Joe. I like what Fat Joe's doing. You know, it's a few others that I listen to, and I try to do it just to break up, because really, honestly, all I do is either read the Bible or read some theology books or listen to podcasts and sermons and stuff. So I try to listen to stuff like that just to break it up.
Yeah, I be having to do that too. Like I be doing like self-help books, and then after a while, I just have to read like a, you know, like a entertaining book,
Right.
like a novel or you know, some fiction, something. So I won't get so overwhelmed. Is there any books that you would recommend?
So I would recommend a book called Cold Case Christianity by Jim Warner Wallace. He's a former atheist who became a believer at about 35 years old. And I think he's, you know, in his 50s or, you know, 55 now, something like that. But he is a retired homicide detective. So his job was to interview criminals or potential criminals or alleged criminals, and you know, and interview them. The same people, you know, in Menace to Society. You know you done messed up, don't you?
Yeah.
You know you done messed up, don't you? Right. So that was him. That was him, and he would do that to solve crimes, and he would look at eyewitness statements that the police officers made, that the alleged criminals made, and things like that. So he used that same skill set to the 4 gospels that are in the Bible, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Because Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, those books that are in the Bible are written by 4 different people, and they all claim to be reporting on historical events that happened in Jesus' life from their perspective. That's what those books are. So as an atheist, he looked at it the same way he looked at other alleged or not alleged eyewitness statements. And as he did that, he said, wow, this looks awful lot like every eyewitness statement that I've ever looked at, which means that they get virtually everything right. One person might leave one thing out. Basically, if me and you, Goot, if we tell the story about how this interview went, we gonna tell the same story, but we gonna leave stuff out. You probably gonna talk about the lights cutting off. I don't care about that, so I'm not gonna mention that. Right. You know, so he talks about how stuff like that is in the Bible, and it's, you know, and it's really consistent. And so he has a book about that, breaking how that stuff works out. And I think that's really helpful, you know, for anybody who is trying to determine, you know, if they think that the Bible is real and reliable, or if a person is a Christian and they just want to be strengthened in their faith. I would strongly recommend that book. It's called Cold Case Christianity. And if somebody's really, really, really a reader, it's a book called Evidence That Demands a Verdict by Josh McDowell and Sean McDowell. It's a really large book with a gang of evidence for Christianity, like a grip. It's remarkable. It's called Evidence That Demands a Verdict from Josh McDowell and Sean McDowell.
So, are you watching anything on Netflix right now? Like any series or movies?
Well, that new Jamie Foxx movie is dope. I checked that out.
I watched that.
What's it called? Power something?
Project?
Yeah, Project Power.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty dope. It was really dope. I was watching All American, and people keep telling me that I should keep watching it, but the thing is, I am a grown man. I am an adult. So when
I finished that series, it was dope.
It was okay. Well, check this out. So I think it was dope, which is why I got pretty far in it. But they stopped talking about football and the young man's career and started talking more about this foolish high school dating stuff. Yeah. I do not care about that. Okay, all of y'all are stupid. None of y'all should be smashing each other anyway. And in 12, 13 years, y'all probably ain't even gonna talk to each other, and y'all sitting here acting like this is life or death situations. You're all wasting your time, okay? And so I tried to get over that, but they just kept it going. I keep being told that if I stick it out for just a few more episodes, they'll get back to the football, because it was a great show when it was about football, but high school drama. I'm a grown man.
No, I feel that. Is there any series that you have watched that you really was like, yo, that was dope? Like
on Netflix or just in general?
Just in general.
Well, Power is the best show I've ever watched in my life. Really? Power is my favorite show of all time. Okay. Even though I don't like how it ended, and I'm not very.
Don't spoil it, because I only got to like the 5th season.
Yeah. Okay.
So I missed like the last season, right? It was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't watch the last season because Tyreek, he was just.
Yeah.
No, just a lot of it though. I'm gonna watch it though. I gotta watch it.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I don't understand. I won't spoil it, but I will say that I don't understand the writer's infatuation with Tariq's character. Mm-hmm. I just don't get it. You know, because I mean, we talked a little bit about, you know, my upbringing. I don't care if you're from South Central, you from LA, you from New York, you know, you from the South. Anybody of Tariq's caliber would be eaten up like us, like a pink starburst at a baby's party. Like, I just don't understand. But anyway, aside from that, I still think Power is an excellent show. There's a show called Billions on Showtime that I think is fire. What else? I did watch Greenleaf. I thought Greenleaf was pretty cool. What other shows do I like? It's escaping me right now. I know it's other shows that I.
Is there any comedy ones that you?
Comedy.
Or like any stand up did you watch that you?
Yo, so Carlos Miller is my favorite comedian. He's
Miller?
You know who that is?
I don't.
All right. So, do you watch Wild 'N Out?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was on Wild 'N Out for a number of seasons. He was a dude with a beard, you know, and he got matter of fact, he has a podcast called 85 South Show with this with that young dude, DC Young Fly.
Yeah,
and
I know
that
who
other
that
dude
is. I know who that is. Yeah.
That guy is hilarious.
I just didn't know his name, but I know who you're talking about.
He's mad vulgar, so it'd be hard for me to deal with that. I'd be like, bro, like, oh man, but he ain't aiming for me. But that dude is he is so fast with it. Like,
yeah.
man, that dude is hilarious. Matter of fact, I should have mentioned that on when you asked me about podcasts. You know, so I do still listen to him. I listen, Carlos Miller. I listen to they stuff because that's mad funny. And DeMarcus Cousins, the basketball player, put out a comedy special not too long ago, and Carlos Miller's in it. Red Grant is in it. Mike Epps is in it, and some other people. But they let Carlos Miller go first, and man, he murdered that thing. So I recommend y'all check that out. Carlos Miller killed that. You better recognize, die slow, and don't come back this time. That's it. Get it? Jesus, he died slow already. Never mind. You die slow, my folks. Make sure all y'all kids don't grow.
It ties in. All your kids.
You see me? Hey, you got me.
The triple?
A triple entendre, baby.
You fool.
Yeah, freestyling. It don't go away, man. That freestyle gift. Hey, I don't know if you saw me. I was on this. I was on somebody else's podcast. This really popular Christian apologist. He deals with Islam a lot, but I was on his show. And he asked me to freestyle, man. So I was kicking it. Kicking some bars.
I did see it, bro. I did see it. You were like, tell the people in the comments to give a word, right?
Yeah, give a word or whatever, and I'm going to keep on going.
Yeah, I did see. That was dope, bro.
Yeah, I received that.
I was never a good
you always told me that.
Bro.
Because people would assume that you are, because you rhyme in, a multi-syllable, thoughtful way, and people who rap like that typically are witty freestylers. And you was like, nah, not this one.
Maybe in the shower or something, but now when it's time to do I get nervous and I start overthinking. That's
right.
Really whack, like that.
Yeah.
But I gotta write, But yeah, I mean, that's dope, bro. That you can do both. It's rare. Usually, people that can write can't freestyle. People that can freestyle can't write. You know what I mean?
God is great, man, and also write R&B and write gospel music. There's a full-out gospel song on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Where there's a singer singing. I'm not the one singing because I'm not a singer, but I wrote the song.
Okay.
And I used to write R&B, and I still do a little bit, and I'm working on 2 albums right now, a rap album and a gospel album, where I'll basically be getting my Kirk Franklin on. You might hear me talking in the beginning, might hear me talking at the end, but it's going to be a singer singing the whole time, but I wrote the record. So yeah, man, I praise the Lord for the ability to actually write content that many people think is dope.
GP, are you with me? When it bro, I want to act. You just reminded me of this music video I was looking forward to for you to drop. Like, you had the whole makeup thing going. It was like,
yeah,
what
man.
happened to, bro? What did you say?
That was a song called Buffalo Bill. See, this is why I gotta edit my own stuff. That's all it is. Like, the editor did a edit that I didn't like, and I sent him my request, and then he just never did it.
What?
Yeah, man. I was mad. And we shot that video at like 2 a.m. too. So it was like, I could have been asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a song called
Buffalo. Footage, like the raw footage where you could still.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna put it out now because it ain't fitting what I'm doing now.
Oh, so it wasn't. See, I thought it was like. I thought from seeing what, I was like, oh, that's gonna be like your kind of like demon or something that's trying to like.
Nah, I did that years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I was waiting. Like, yo, it's been forever. Like, where you at this? Yeah. Remember the I think it was your SoundCloud, and I don't know if you removed it or not, but
I did, man, and I didn't want to. The reason, for people listening, he's talking about I put out a song that was basically saying, hey, y'all, I'm a Christian, I'm a preacher, but I still got bars, holla at me. And I got that message out pretty clear on that record. Yeah. However, on my SoundCloud, I still have my other records that were still on there, which had thousands and thousands of views, by the way. Real views. So I didn't want to delete it. And And so what happened is that song went off, and one of my songs about smashing come on right after, and I'm an explicit cat too, so it ain't like I'm just saying, yeah, baby, we gonna get to the house, we gonna do something when the kids is knocked out. No, I'm a lot more explicit than that. You feel? So it's like, whoa, Reverend, hey, preacher.
I had to hit you like, bro, that shit was crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, and that it was hard for me to do that too because I had a video with 50 called Irregular Heartbeat. I had the clearance to do that, and I was like, okay, I'm either gonna have to make a whole new page, just for this. So yeah, man, I had to make some sacrifices, man. It wasn't easy. I ain't gonna front, especially because I had thousands and thousands of views, bro. Even like I got almost as of right now recording this, I have 2,800 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I think something like that, 2,700, 2,800. I had like 14,000 on my other one, But
so you started from scratch with this one?
Yep.
That's what's up. I'm starting from scratch too, bro. Like 0, 0, 0, everything. My Instagram all new 0. YouTube a new one 0. Not that I had a lot of views on the other one or a lot of followers on the other one.
It's still a sacrifice though to start from. Start brand new.
Yeah. Bro, I want to ask you about your internship at, was it Interscope?
Yep, Interscope Records. That's how I got in the music business.
Okay, can you take me down that? How you even got into all that? Like,
I called them every day for a month until they called me back. Now, it's not as simple as that. I had a book, so I enrolled into a junior college called Santa Monica College for the sole purpose of trying to get an internship in the entertainment industry. I want to be very clear. This is before Game came out with his first album in 2005. Before Game came out in 2005, it wasn't any West Coast artists. So being from the West Coast, being from LA and wanting to have a rap career, it had a far-fetched element to it. It's not like right now where it's so many celebrities or so many people that are connected to the industry one way or another, whether they do videos, they do radio, they're DJs, they're rappers, they're writers. It's so many people, like everybody knows somebody authentically now on some level. It wasn't like that. It was not like that 16 years ago. So, excuse me. Actually, I give my internship at Interscope more credit for me disassociating myself with the street lifestyle than anything, to be honest with you, because when I got the internship, and I'm gonna get to how I got it, but I'm gonna say this really quick. When I got the internship, I felt like, I had a shot. And one of my big homies said, hey, look, the hood is always gonna be here, so you try what you're doing, and if it don't work, trust me, the hood is still gonna be right here. I ain't associated to the neighborhood, that I grew up in at all, really, right now. But the hood is still right there. I know exactly where it's at. I could go right there in front of McDonald's and, and do whatever right now. It's still there, So he was like, look, the hood ain't going nowhere. Do what you're doing. And, if it don't work, the hood is always right here. But I did that and I never looked back. I felt like I had a shot and I picked up that ball and I ran with it. But the way I got it is at Santa Monica College, I went there for the sole purpose to get an internship because I thought that if the internship is for a school like Santa Monica College, it sounds better than Southwest or El Camino or the schools that were a lot closer to my house at the time. Because again, I lived on Fig and Imperial. So it's the only reason I went to Santa Monica College, and they had a booklet of entertainment companies and had their number. It was about this thick. And I called every single one for a month because nobody called me back. First, CBS called me back because I wanted to be a sports analyst. I don't know if this clip is going to come out before when you ask me about boxing, but I've always enjoyed talking sports. So I was like, yo, yeah, man, I can defend T.O. or something on Sports Center, man. Yeah. So I was excited about that. But on the day of that interview, I got a phone call from somebody at Interscope Records asking me if I wanted to intern, and and that's been it right there. And I wanted to do that so I could be a smart recording artist. I wanted to be an artist that knows how to do certain things, that knows how to get his stuff on the radio, to get his stuff in the nightclubs, to get his stuff on MTV, which all of these things happen. To God be all the glory. And I anticipate that it will happen when I put out this new music as well, because I know how to do it and I still know the people. So, yeah.
Is there anything like that you would tell yourself now, that's something that you know now that you wish somebody would have told you then, or like, or even like in your life period, like not just with this, but like in general?
Man, honestly, I listen to some of my stuff that I did as a teenager, and I have no idea how nobody talked to me. Like I have no idea. I'm like, there's no way I would listen to a 16-year-old say what I was saying and not be like, yo, man, come here. Like, yeah, let me holler at you, man. Like, what's going on with you? What's going on? Because it wasn't just like, yo, I'm doing a gangster song and I'm rapping about killing somebody. I used to say some stuff. It's like, bro, why are you even thinking that way? Yeah. Like, what is wrong with you?
You're sick.
Like you really sick, bro. Like, you going through something. So you really got issues,
you need
bro.
Help, bro. You need help.
Like,
counseling, bro.
Like for real. Yeah. You need help, young man. Come here. And you've clearly never had nobody tell you this before. I love you enough to tell you this. And if a grown man told me that, I probably would have cried right in his arms, because nobody ever told me that. Yeah. So that's number one. Secondly, I'd hate to sound super preachy, bro, but honestly, if I could talk to my old self, I would just tell me to examine the evidence about Jesus. Just see if you think he's real. Search it with an open heart. Don't go in there hostile and be like, yo, I know that he ain't real, even though I haven't really studied it, which I don't know why people do that about anything. Mm-hmm. I would just say, look it up. Because, man, if I could have, fell in love with the Lord sooner, man, it would just be so much. It would just be so much easier for me to live for the Lord now. It would just be so much easier. But I know everything happens in God's time and in God's timing. And honestly, even if you read the Bible, God used people who had a late start in getting holy. Noah, everybody know him and his ark. He was a drunk. So he might be a great example for being faithful, but he ain't a great example, about, how to be sober and how to consume a proper amount of alcohol. Peter, not only did he have a temper, people might have heard the story where he chopped off somebody's ear, but he wasn't trying to chop off his ear. He was aiming for the head. He just missed. So, and then he was right there when Jesus was getting gaffled up. And he was already like, yo, Jesus, man, you my boy. Then they gaffled up Jesus. They're like, hey, you know Jesus. And Peter was like, I don't know that dude. and if you read the Bible, you swear Peter said the N-word, because they asked him, they was like, hey, you look like that dude that we saw with him. And Peter's like, that ain't me. And they like, no, I'm pretty sure that's you. Peter was like, I don't know. And they was like, yo, I swear, he messing with me. I swear that's him. And he said, I do not know the man. Now, when I read that, I saw Peter like, I don't know that. Like, man. Look, y'all crazy. Look, I'm on y'all team. I'll throw a rock at him with you. Like I don't know that Jesus cat. We didn't even say his name. How you know his name Jesus? Oh, It started breaking. But look, my point is, even though I feel that way about wishing that I got to know Jesus a lot sooner, I understand that it's all in God's timing, and God can use my brokenness to help someone else who's in brokenness. Similar, like the answer I gave about somebody who 15, 16, 17 saying some of the demented and emotionally damaged stuff that I used to say. Mm-hmm. Now I know to say that to somebody if they say something, right? Mm-hmm. So I would honestly just tell me about the gospel, and that's the main thing. And I'm sorry if I sound too preachy, but I would tell him the gospel. I would say, hey, listen, you are broken. You are obviously broken. You have an attitude problem. You're having sex with a gang of girls, not because you think it makes you player, but because you think it makes you more confident. You know what I mean? It's so much stuff in your life that you are not able to control. So you manipulate women to control that and have dominion over their bodies, and that makes you feel like a man because of everything that you went through, you know, in the house with your mom, and you never felt like a man. You feel like you're running this, so you feel like a man. But listen, there is a man who is God by the name of Jesus Christ who loves you so much that all of this, what you're earning something. What you're earning is a seat in eternal damnation. And people always talk about, oh, I don't want to serve a God that's going to send me to hell. We send ourselves to hell. We deserve hell because all heaven is being in the presence of the Lord for all eternity. That's all it is. So being outside of his presence for all eternity is the complete opposite of holiness. It's the complete opposite of good. That's hell. And if we spend our life while we're on here choosing to reject him, we're choosing to go, I don't want to be in your presence for all eternity. God is going to respect that wish. But I would tell the young me that, hey, even though you've earned hell, you've earned the wrath of God because God is only good. Jesus Christ took on that wrath for you. That's how much he loved you. Even though you laugh at people who be serving him, you be laughing at people who think Jesus is God and think Jesus is real. And he still died for you. Not just died for you. He took on the wrath that you deserve. If you listening to this and you a gangbanger, I'm sure you know what getting DP'd mean. So just imagine you did something that's in violation of what your hood's morals are, and you deserve a DP, and you know you're supposed to get DP. Come to the hood today, 12 o'clock, don't be late, because we finna run that. You gonna feel that. But somebody took that DP on your behalf that you rightfully deserve. Not just any DP, an eternal DP. An eternal, emotional, and spiritual tormenting DP that you deserve. But somebody took on that DP for you. So now when you go to the hood, it's all good. Nah, man, it's all good. Ain't nobody looking at you up and down. Ain't nobody giving you no funny vibe. Why? Because somebody took on that DP for you. That's what Jesus did for us. And I would tell that to me. And I would say, hey, look, don't take my word for it. Just look into, because I've always been an inquisitive person, and I believe I would have done it if somebody put it to me like that. Just look into it. Look into it. If it ain't true, don't worry about it. It's BS. It's a made-up story. It's a comic book. But here's the thing, though. If Christianity is true, it's the most important thing in the universe. If it's not true, it's BS. Forget about it. But if it is true, it's the most important thing for us, for our children. It's the most important thing, period. So it's worth looking into to see if it is true. And I wish somebody told me that when I was younger.
But see, now you can reach that.
Yeah.
You know, you can be relatable, bro. People can identify with you like, hey. Yeah. So that's why you went through that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was a purpose, like you said. Yeah. Everything.
Because I would have never been able to use the DP analogy.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm saying? Yeah. I wouldn't even know enough to even use the analogy of a DP. You're right. Yeah. You're right.
Because there's some, people that, certain kids that come from where we come from would not want to hear that shit from. You know, like,
right.
Like, what do you know about that, bro?
Right.
You grew up in the,
right.
a good ass silver spoon or whatever you know. So, like, you don't know what I'm going through, but you do, you know what I mean? So you can be like, oh, yeah, bro, that's awesome, bro. I love that you taking on that you found your purpose, you know, and because if you can at least help one person, bro, you would have, you know what I mean?
Just one, even if it's just one.
Yeah, yeah, I commend you for it.
I received that, man.
I'm proud of you too. Like, I'll be seeing you. I'll be rooting for you from a distance. You know, like, hey, sure, I see you doing your thing with your daughter, bro. I love it. You know, you're a great father. I salute you for that, you know.
I received that, bro. Thank you.
How the hell dog, if she crazy on the piano, bro. I was like, she did it with her eyes closed?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like, wow, bro, that's amazing, bro.
Yeah, she'd be like showing off, you know, but like humble. Yeah. But she'd be like showing off, you know. She got swag, man. She crazy.
Yeah, what y'all be doing for fun, bro?
Man, we be roasting each other for one. Like, you, man, if Lyric was here right now, like, y'all can't tell on the cameras, you feel me? But I took my shoes off or whatever right now. So she wouldn't interrupt the interview right now. But let's just say if you wanted to pause for a hot second to go do something, she'd be like, she would say something about me taking my shoes off. Like, man, like she would say something like that. She talks so much stuff. I don't know who she get that from. You feel me? I don't know who she be around that got a mouth on them that always got something to say. I don't know, bro. Beats me. But nah, man. But yeah, but that's what we do, man. We roast each other, man, and we kick it. We both love music. You know, when she practicing the piano and she plays Still DRE by Dr. Dre, she'll come in like, hey, tell me what song this is. Boom, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, oh, that's Still DRE. Come on, you know. She'll come ask me to, kick something to it. Yeah, man. Really, just family time, man. Just family time is what we do for fun. I try to as a leader in my household, I try to use my influence to say, we need to have like human interaction should be enough. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm on my phone a lot, bro. Yeah. I'm on my phone a lot, but good company is a joy. And I do that intentionally, so my wife has attention from me. I care about you as a person, your thoughts. What did you think about today? What are your, what's on your mind? What are some of your emotions today? I care about that, you as a person, because that's who I'm married to. Right. The positive and negative effects of whatever you thought about today, I'm married to, and I'm going to feel that. So I want to know about it. But I also do that not just to love my wife better, but to show my daughters. I now have two. I have one that's about to be 13 and I have a 2-year-old. And I want them to care about that because I don't want them to be so impressed by a wine and dine night. That might be an incredible gesture. You feel me? And that might be like, wow, maybe he put so much thought into this date and it's incredible. But that's not lifestyle though. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's not who you gonna live with because he ain't gonna do that every single day. So let's actually pay attention to the things that truly matter, which is us, human to human, our interaction. So I try to use my influence in my household as a leader on doing that, and that's some stuff that we do for fun.
You set an example, right? Like, yeah.
But honestly, I read a lot, dude. So family time is my fun time.
Yo, did you read that 50 Cent book?
The recent one, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter?
Yeah.
It was brilliant. I'm going to read it again.
Me too, bro.
Or listen to it again. He has an audio book, and he did it, which is great because it's like listening to a 50 Cent interview.
Yeah.
I love 50, man.
Man, that book was so good, bro. Like,
man, make you want to go get up and start a 30 business. Like, let's make it happen, baby. Yeah. It's incredible.
You feel lazy, bro. Like, what? I man, what?
Yeah, man. Fifth go at it. Fifth go at it.
But yeah, I truly enjoyed it. I want to go back and get the 50th Law.
That's a great book. It focuses on fear. So it's a sequel to the 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah.
So I think
he did it with the author.
He did it with Robert Greene. So they basically skip the 49th law and go to the 50th law. And the 50th law is all about fear. Okay. And it basically talks about the mental blocks that we have. So essentially, to summarize it, let's say we use you in your show, your podcast, your YouTube channel, your website, all of this stuff as an example. You might be scared to invest money into lighting equipment, into a new camera, into a new MacBook Pro, or invest in the time to learn how to edit software properly and everything. You might be scared to do it because maybe you feel like whatever you did before, you invested time in and now you don't do it no more. Yeah. But that fear might stop you from doing this next thing that might actually work and either make you a millionaire or make you change the world. Who knows? But we'll never know because you was too scared to actually do it, or even if it's a matter of, well, I don't want to, talk and interview, or I was scared to ask this question. That's a really good question. Yeah. It's a really good question. But I was scared to ask it for whatever reason. I didn't want the mood to be kind of like, ugh. But somebody come over here, they know they come into an interview. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have a license to ask whatever the heck you want. If we don't want to answer, we can just go, I think I'm going to pass. And then you can move on like nothing happened. Yeah. But we know we get an interview. But our fear stops us from being great. And that book is not a self-help book like, yeah, you know, but it's in a Robert Greene and 50 Cent type of way, but it brilliantly reminds us that we need to rebuke fear. They don't say rebuke. That was me having my Bible talk. But but yeah, you know, we need to we need to rebuke that thing, baby. Got like a Bible right there. So this is a study Bible. So it has the books in the Bible. By the way, let's be clear. The Bible is not a book, y'all. It's not. It is a collection of books. It is a collection of 66 different books that are written at different time periods by different people, okay? Let me not turn this into my apologetics program. But what this is though, bro. So somebody gifted you with a study Bible. So like what you see right here, so this is the Bible. This is what Paul wrote to the church in Philippians. And right here it has footnotes to answer some questions. So for verses 3 to 11, like you might read this and just read this letter, the book of Philippians, you might just read it and I'm reading it or whatever, I'm reading the Bible, but this is supposed to help you understand exactly what's going on, like if you have questions. So
like layman's terms, kind of, like, or just break it down.
Yeah, it's breaking it down further, answering certain questions, and also in a way that applies it to your lifestyle as an adult grown man who is a father, who is a mate, who is a friend, you know what I mean?
That's
so
awesome.
So it's geared towards, and there are different types of study Bibles. This particular study Bible is about, like, okay, for men who are trying to read the Bible, this is who I'm writing to. Seems pretty cool. I like I like the leather-ish stuff right here. It's pretty dope.
Oh, remember I had some for you that I wanted to give you this DVD.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah, I hope I didn't sound, just so y'all know, if you ever put this part out. So Goot hit me up and was like, yo man, somebody was selling this, I bought it, I'm gonna get this to you whenever you come over. And I was kind of like, well, you don't want it? Like, you can use it, like, what you gotta give it to me for? So he was like, nah man, I know you study this kind of stuff, so here you go. So I appreciate it, but I hope I didn't sound like dismissive. I was just saying I got a trillion books and DVDs and stuff on Jesus. Not to say I don't need another one, because Lord knows I don't know everything. That's not what I'm saying. I am a student. Trust me, I am a student. So I'm gonna check this out. For sure. This seems pretty cool too. This is a devotional. You know what that is?
Nah.
So this is basically. So this is a Bible. It has the 66 books in the Bible with additional things to help you understand it, as a man and as a father and all that good stuff. This is a devotional, which means that a Christian author, Paul Tripp, I'm familiar with Paul Tripp. So basically every day, say to start your day, something to help you, because you might be reading this to study, but you also kind of want to get preached to a little bit, but you ain't finna listen to a whole sermon. Yeah. You just want to read something short. So to start my day, I'm gonna read this. This might take me 5 minutes to read this page right here, January 1st. And this is something that's based off of Psalm 115, and it's telling me something about struggles. Boom. So I got my devotional for today. Boom. January 2nd, and it goes through the entire year.
Oh, that's dope.
And I really feel like I just did a commercial for these two books that I never seen before in my life.
Man, I'm gonna have to actually bust them open, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's tight. I like that. So it's like a daily reflection. Kind of for AA, I had a daily reflection where it's like every day you get just like a little paragraph or something, to like get you through the day, like, or something.
This is Bible. Yeah, so it is similar to that, but it's Bible based.
Yeah,
it's pretty dope.
Shouts to Vanessa, she gave me that.
Shouts out to Vanessa. Hey,
mad love. She from the Bay. She lives in Oakland, bro. She sent us those via Amazon.
What time is it right now?
It is.
Or we can get my phone.
5:01.
Okay.
You gotta get going.
Sooner than later. I did want to
Okay.
watch it start in 30 minutes.
Okay.
So I don't know if you wanted to make sure we talked about black and brown stuff or.
I mean, we could touch on how do you feel about Mexicans using the N-word, bro? It's an uncomfortable conversation. I used to say it. I don't say it no more.
No, you don't.
No, but when I listen to me when I used to rap and say it on chat, I hate it.
I personally, I don't care.
You don't care?
With you. I only care for the most part when white people say it.
Okay.
So if an Asian says it, and he's like one of those Asians that clearly is part of black culture or loves black culture, and he's saying it, and he's like, yeah, I don't say the word no more at all because I don't say anything that can be deemed profanic, or at least I try not to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't say it no more. But you asked me my opinion. I personally don't care. Matter of fact, when Mexicans, Hispanics, and Latinos say something racial that's clearly offensive, or even when Asians do it, that's clearly racial, I don't get as mad as when white people say it. Like I might get mad because I know you disrespecting me, and I know the point is to offend me, so I'm offended by that. So you might say something about my shorts, and I don't really care about what you said about my shorts. However, I know you were trying to offend me, so therefore, hey, we got a problem. Now this is pre-Christ, like what's up, but I honestly never really, got that offended. Because humans are humans, and humans are going to say things that other humans don't like, and I really don't care. It does have a different toxicity to it when it does come from white people because of the historicity of America and the residual effects of America. So it's more pain connected to it. It's more reality connected to it. So if a white person says the exact same thing, you are connected to certain things that... If maybe I want to name my son Deontay, and I'm thinking twice about it, because if he's Deontay Henderson and he has the same exact resume, as Bradley Henderson, Deontay, because it sounds black more than likely, it's not, so he's going to be less likely to get that job interview. And statistics even show that. And that's just one example of racial tension. So you're asking me my opinion. I personally don't care when Latinos, Hispanics, or Mexicans say the N-word. Now, there are some who are like really excessive with it. And I'll be like, yo, chill, bro. Like, why is you talking like so much? Like it's one thing for me to not care because I don't care. Like, I get it why you would say the word because it's a word that people use and use around you. I really don't care like that. But I actually have had confrontations with people because they were saying it so much. And I'm like, yo, you need to relax, man. You need to learn another English language, homeboy. And then he felt like I was being racial when I said that, But I was just saying you need to learn another English word. Instead of saying the N-word all the time. Like, what's wrong with you? Chill. And again, that's BC days, y'all.
Yeah. No, yeah, bro. When I decided I needed to remove it from my vocabulary or just unlearn it, was when I was at my girl granny house. And I like felt uncomfortable. Like I caught myself about to say it, and like, she like 99 years old or something, like.
Well, you just need to, you don't got a cussing problem. You have a respect problem, young man. Sit down, young man. You ain't got no.
No, but I felt like if I don't feel comfortable saying it right here in front of her, or like at her family reunion or something, because in front of her uncles, I don't need to say it at all.
That's mature, bro. That's deep.
And then I also read a couple books that broke it down, and it was like, and it was like, nah, it ain't cool at all. But yeah, bro, I don't want to keep you. I have so many more questions I want to ask.
I'm good right now. I'll let you know when I'm not good no more.
Okay. Alright, shit. I don't want to get political or anything, but like, like I want to have a Mexican Trump supporter on it and like a black Trump supporter on it. So I just want I'm interested. You know,
Mm-hmm.
how could you like support someone who's clearly racist towards you? Like I don't know that you're a Trump supporter or not, but regardless, like how how is that possible?
So, thank you for asking me that. So, I have friends on both sides, and they both get mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
As a Christian apologist, I am conditioned, and I even said this on social media not too long ago. I am conditioned to be very critical of my own arguments. So if I say we can know for a fact that that Jesus rose from the dead for for this reason, or we know for a fact that Jesus lived for these reasons, I want to be aware of the best atheist responses to that, and if that response actually holds some weight, and how can I respond to that objection, and because I do that to try to strengthen my arguments about the Bible, I go, okay, I do this, and or I'm thinking this, and I think this is right. However, that's not a very strong argument. So I'm not even going to bring this up unless I know this person is like on my side. I'm only going to bring this up. You know what I mean? And it's about knowing where holes are and acknowledging those. Hey, this argument, I think Kobe Bryant is the greatest individual basketball player of all time, and there are certain arguments, if I'm trying to prove that point, that I'm not going to make at all, because I can understand why somebody would say, they would chew that up about Jordan, or I can't say that when you comparing them to LeBron. I can't. That's a bad argument. I use that as an example to say that I try to look at both sides, and I believe I can answer your response to a certain extent about why you can support someone who, at least at bare minimum, has the perception that he hates you or doesn't like you. And I think that would be because of certain policies, that he has in place. So I think that Donald Trump appeals to white, like his voting base, his political base is white people who have more influence than other ethnic groups in America, and they want to keep it that way. And he says things that supports that and empowers that. But if you were to really look into what he says, you could try to defend what he's saying by saying, like, no, he ain't really racist, man, because if you look at the whole thing, he was saying this, he was saying that. And I see those arguments. So how I perceive it is, like if somebody ever, let's say I talk stuff about you behind your back. And, when I'm talking to Charlie, I be talking bad about you. And when you and Charlie in the same room, I say something bad about you to your face, but just jokingly enough to where you won't think I'm really dissing you. You'll think Vada just talking stuff, but it's just aggressive enough to where Charlie think I'm saying what I be saying to him to your face. Yeah. And I'm kind of playing both sides. Yeah. That's what I think Donald Trump does, because I do think that he appeals to white Americans who want to maintain white supremacy. I think he appeals to it. However, I do think that if you look at the totality of some of his comments, people can defend it, but I think he ain't stupid. He knows what he's doing. He knows he's saying this. He knows this soundbite is going to go out. He knows that it's going to empower racist white folks, and that's his voting base. And he also knows that if he's ever talking to you and you ask him that question, he'll have a response by saying, well, when I said this, are you saying that when it was white nationalists was out there that it wasn't fine people out there? Everybody out there wasn't a looter. You don't like when they do that with the Black Lives Matter marches, do you? Huh? When it's Black Lives Matter, everybody wasn't looting. And you don't like when we call everybody who's marching a looter. So why would you want me to call all of those white people racist when the fact is that's not the case? So, and you'll be like, well, you got a point. if you're listening with an open heart, I believe you'll be like, well, you got a point. But again, I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I think that if we get past what his perception is and look at some of his policies, I think many people feel like he has policies that aren't as anti-black and brown as some of the Democrats are. and they'll use that to say, well, Joe Biden, signed the crime bill. By the way, I don't hold it against a politician if they sign a bill however many years ago that hurt me, because the truth of the matter is, if it's in, like right now, if it's in style to help black people, trust me, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is going to help black people. It was in style to hurt them in 1994, so that's what they did, okay? Look, this ain't about emotions. I ain't married to neither one of them. I ain't smashing them. We ain't friends. You know what I mean? They are politicians. They are going to do what's hot. In 1994, it was hot to say, hey, somebody who looked like Vada, put him in jail forever. Mm-hmm. All right? That's what was hot. If that's not what's hot in 2020, their policies are going to be different. But the Trump supporters, or the people who are pro-Trump policies at least, they'll go, well, if you look at the history, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have done more harm to black people than Donald Trump has. Because all Donald Trump has done is hurt your feelings with a couple of comments. He ain't really did nothing. So that would be why there are some black and brown people who will go, I'm still going to support him, because in their mind, for the most part, they'll go, I'm getting past my emotions about what he said. Some go as far as defending everything that he says, and I wish they didn't do that. But I think that's what it is. They'll go, I'm going past the emotions, and I'm looking at, the tangible stuff that I can touch. Mm-hmm. They are more anti-black and brown than this guy, because this guy freed black and brown people with criminal reform, and they didn't.
That's a good answer, bro. Yeah, I appreciate that. Cause I come in with an open mind, you know.
Right.
What I mean? I'm not nothing is set in stone for me, at least. I like to hear.
By the way, I'm just curious. Did it sound like I supported either party in how I answered that? You can be honest.
No.
Okay.
Right now, I don't know who you're voting for. I'm not gonna ask you. Are you voting though? Are you gonna vote?
Yeah, I'm gonna vote. Okay. I'm gonna vote for sure. But I asked you that because I tried to answer in a way that's, like I said, that's why I use the example of me being critical of my own biblical arguments. Yeah. So I was just wondering if I did that fine.
No, you good. How do you feel about the protests and stuff, like Black Lives Matter movement, and like the overwhelming support of brown, from brown people supporting Black Lives Matter?
Well, I think black and brown people who support Black Lives Matter, the movement, are thinking about the statement, are thinking about the sentiment. Black Lives Matter. And it's time for us to act like Black lives actually matter in this country. However, there is an organization that has a political agenda and has an agenda that is incredibly, their website, I believe they say, is anti-Western culture, something like that. They want trans families and same-sex marriage families and things of that nature, and they want to champion that, and that's their primary focus, not social justice. And I think that sometimes when we say the statement Black Lives Matter, there are many people who think of the organization when you say that, and focus more on that instead of the movement of assuring that Black Lives Matter in this country. I think that Black Lives Matter is a statement that is necessary because in the Declaration of Independence, it says something beautiful. It says that all men were created equal in the image of God. I believe it even says in the image of God. But when that was written, they weren't talking about black lives. So yes, it's necessary to say Black Lives Matter. And when I say that, I'm not gangbanging, for the organization. Black Lives Matter, homie, what's happening, though? That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying that black lives also matter. If you want me to say also, or if you want me to say too at the end, so you don't think I'm supporting the organization, I'll say that. Black Lives Matter as well. Black Lives Matter too. To your point about brown people who are supporting it, I think that's beautiful. I think that's great. Even people in London, man, I've never seen nothing like it in my life. And
there's a lot of white people out there at the protest, bro.
And I think that's fascinating because when it's only black people saying, hey, man, we matter, it's not as loud until other people go, yeah, y'all right. Black lives matter, and so do brown lives, And I think it's great that our brown sisters and brothers are on board with it. You know, I know that especially in LA, you know, it can be racial tensions at times and stuff like that. And we need to override that foolishness, you know, with
I
more.
think that's more on the gang side.
It is.
Low key,
It
like
is.
regular people, like family men, like us, you know, like we don't be really caring about the politics. The streets politics.
That's gang stuff and prison stuff.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, but
know.
regular ass people like who we got black and brown family members, you know,
Right.
best friends or friends that we love and care about, you know.
Well, typically speaking, you know, black and brown people do get along unless it's gang related or something like that.
I remember I was thinking how social media has empowered. Now people are seeing it. Like you can't you know, help but to see like, yo, it's really, you know, I don't know. How do you feel like social media has impacted just life, period?
Well, I agree with you, you know, that it's in our faces, and it's in our faces so quickly. It's in our face before a news commentator can provide their commentary or their narrative. We see the video of somebody with a knee on their neck for over 8 minutes. Or is it Philando Castile? I mean, they all break my heart, but that one broke my heart. He was in the car with his fiance, with his daughter, and oh my goodness. And we see that. We see that, him dying right in front of them. And we talk about that. I mean, that young lady, that little girl didn't die. How is she going to grow? How is she impacted mentally? How is she going to have friendships as she gets older? She's going to be a teenager soon. How is she going to react in friendships when she gets older? How is that going to impact her in relationships? Like, it's heartbreaking, man. It's so...
She was comforting her mom. Did you... Oh, bro, that brought... Like, mommy, it's okay. Oh, bro. I just got chills, bro. Like, for real. Like, you know, like, that was tough.
And we see that stuff, and we see it now. You know, like when NWA and Public Enemy used to make records in the early 90s, and movies used to come out in the early 90s, used to hear about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why the Rodney King thing was so big, because that was like, hey, look, see, we told y'all that we be getting beat up just like that, and it's finally on camera. And then nothing happened.
They got it clear. Yeah.
You know, but it's like we keep seeing it, and I don't know what it is about it happening in waves, like back to back to back to back to
it's
back
just
to
being
back
filmed
to.
now, bro.
No, it's being filmed, but like right now we don't got no new video. I don't know when this is gonna come out, but this was recorded on August 21st, 2020. Right, so we didn't have a new video on August 18th, and then another video on August 20th, and then another one on August 25th.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
I
But
heard about a cop killing somebody in Pasadena a few days ago, but I don't know. I don't watch the news, but
yeah, I think I read something about that somewhere.
Yeah, my mother-in-law told me about it, but anyway, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, I was just saying how it's like a wave of like anywhere between 3 to 8 people at a time dying in like a 3-week time span. Because you got to think, before Brother Floyd was murdered, the thing that we was outraged about was is his name Ahmaud? I forget his name right now. Arbery.
Yeah.
We was outraged at that because he was killed by 2 non-law enforcement people who wasn't even arrested. Even if they went to trial and they beat the case because it was a citizen's arrest and they presented evidence and they said that he was robbing people and blah 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 blah, which I don't think is the case, but let's just say it is. They should go to trial and have to prove that. How do you kill somebody and you don't even get arrested to have to post bail to get out? You don't even get arrested? That don't make no sense, bro.
Privilege, bro.
So we was mad at that, and then we forgot about that as far, not saying literally, but I mean as far as the news cycle and what's popping is concerned, because not long after that, I think Breonna Taylor happened. You know, I don't remember if that happened before George Floyd, but it's like it happens back to back to back, and I hope we don't have another wave soon, but yeah, man, that's crazy.
You think if this pandemic wouldn't have happened, if it would still have been like that, or... You know, because a lot of people were out of work, so they was at the protest. You know? But had it been like...
That's a good question. I don't know. And also, further to your point, a lot of people were sitting still. Because you got to think, this ain't been the first time where multiple news articles have been in our face, or multiple videos have been in our face. The video with Eric Garner being killed is horrendous, man. They said he was selling loose cigarettes or something like that. Look, I don't care if that man was selling crack to kids. He shouldn't have been choked to death. You get what I'm saying? Put him in jail. Put him in jail. Lock him up. Get him off the street.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been murdered, dude. Like, you, man. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to get at is this isn't the first time in 2020. 2020 isn't the first time where we had multiple horrendous videos come out, let alone come out back to back like this. But it may be something to the fact that people weren't moving around as much because most people were at home, you know, either not working, or if they are working, you still at home. We just stuck at home. So we have an opportunity to really grasp what it is that we're looking at. So it may be something to that. I don't know.
And even like the opposite of it, where you see that I saw videos of like white people, you know, had like machetes and stuff, and they didn't get shot. You know, they was attacking the police, and so you see that they are able to, you know, apprehend these without shooting them, but they shoot out. That's what really makes
what I believe it is that in those circumstances that you're talking about, they don't forget that that's actually a human being. So yeah, he got a machete. Yeah, he got a taser. But that's still a human life, and I'm only going to take it if I absolutely have to as a police officer. Because this is a human life made in the image of God, and I'm not about to do that. One of the things that's problematic about that is that our white brothers and sisters who aren't for the cause of racial equality and correction, they'll argue that any of this is even an issue. They'll spell out some statistics, and you can make statistics look however you want them. You know, I'm quite sure I can find a statistic to make it look like Robert Horry is a better power forward than Karl Malone. He's not. You know, how many game winners does Karl Malone hit? Okay, I can name about 15 from Robert Horry. Robert Horry got 7 rings, homie. 7. How many Karl Malone got? You know, we can put together some statistics to make virtually any argument. Okay, but the problem is there are things that happen that demonstrate that they know that there's a problem. For instance, I actually forgot about this. At the same time George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor were killed, there was another thing with, I think her last name was Floyd, or I forget her name, but she caught the police on a man in the park because he was telling her to put her dog on a leash or to clean up the dog poop or whatever he was asking her to do.
The term Karen came from.
Yeah, no. The term Karen came from a woman named Karen, who I think she called the police at black people who was at a park barbecuing or something like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but it just hasn't gone away. But this happened like a few months ago at the time we recorded this. Yeah. And she called the police, and she was like, "Yo, you're harassing me for asking me to do whatever you asking me to do with my dog." And he's like, "No, you know, I am a law-abiding citizen like you, telling you to do this with your dog." But she was like, "If you don't leave me alone, I'm gonna call the police." When she called the police, she didn't go, "Hey, this dude is harassing me, telling me to do something with my dog, and I don't want to do it." What she said is, "There's an African-American man. Please just come." What she said is, "I am a white woman. Y'all know that I am precious and human. There is a black man, and I'm scared of him. Help me." She's weaponizing what she knows America has historically done. She knows it. Otherwise, she wouldn't do that. Because trust me, if I wanted to call the police on you, right now, I wouldn't go, you know, are you Hispanic, Mexican, Latino? I don't know. You don't know either?
Latino.
Oh, all right. Like, man, that's a good question, man. I never thought about that. Look. If I call the police,
Mexican American. Bro.
Okay. If I call the police on you, and I want the police to get you to leave me alone, or even arrest you. Let's say I want them to arrest you. Yeah. I wouldn't go, "Hey, police, yes, there's a Mexican American man. I am a black man who's the same age, you know, just a little bit smaller than him. Come get it." I would never do that. Because they would probably laugh just like you laughing. The lady would be like, "Hey, what he doing? What he doing? What he doing to you? What he doing to you? It's the Mexican American." Like, but she knows what the reality is in America, and she was weaponizing that, and that's very dangerous. Because if she was successful, what happened to George Floyd would have happened to that man, and that's not fair.
Yeah. Hey, man. Word. Yo, I don't know about you, but that was awesome. I love that. And yeah, good energy, good people, good all that. It's all I love, man. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next week, Monday, 11 a.m. You know, as always, to the Gusto. Word. And thank you. I appreciate you. God bless. Until the next time. Y'all be safe, man. Be careful. Take care. All right? I love you. Peace.